A normal day at school turned into a nightmare when a 20-year-old decided to barge into a kindergarten school with a gun and kill as many children as he could. We are talking about the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, one of the most deadliest school shooting incidents in America. Today, on Behind the Date, we pay respect to the victims who lost their lives too soon by trying to understand why such acts of violence still exist. Schools should be places for learning, not shooting, but somehow that's what's been happening. In this video, we will also talk about why school shooting is prevalent in America and the gun laws that somehow enable such occurrences. Viewers' discretion is advised. The Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting was a tragic event that occurred on December 14, 2012, at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. The shooter, 20-year-old Adam Lanza, shot and killed 20 children between the ages of 6 and 7, as well as 6 adult staff members. At the time of the shooting, Lanza was armed with a Bushmaster XM15E2S rifle and a Glock 20F. He had previously killed his mother, Nancy Lanza, at their home in Newtown prior to driving to the school. The shooting began when Lanza entered the school and fired shots into the main office, killing several staff members. He then moved on to 2 first-grade classrooms, where he shot and killed 15 students. He then moved to another first-grade classroom, where he killed 5 more students. He then proceeded to move to the hallway, where he committed suicide. At the time of the shooting, Sandy Hook Elementary School had approximately 500 students, with the majority of them being between the ages of 5 and 10. In the wake of the tragedy, the school was closed for the remainder of the year, and the building was torn down and replaced with a new building. Immediately after the shooting, the community was in shock. People were in disbelief that something like this could happen, especially to young children. Even those living in other states felt the pain of the tragedy. And not just in the country, people around the country were shocked and saddened by the news and began to express their sympathy and condolences to those affected. Politicians also responded to the tragedy. President Obama addressed the nation, expressing his utter disappointment, anger, and shock, and urged Americans to come together in a time of healing and to remember those who had been taken too soon. Many other politicians around the country echoed similar sentiments. This event was the deadliest mass shooting at a high school or grade school in U.S. history. The event sparked a nationwide debate on gun control and mental health in the United States. The debate included a focus on the availability of firearms and mental health services. It also prompted renewed efforts for stricter gun control legislation. The shooting also had a lasting impact on how schools and communities approach safety and security, with an increased focus on school safety protocols and mental health services. Sandy Hook, unfortunately, is also not an isolated incident. There have been many school shootings in America where children have needlessly lost their lives. In 2023 only, there have been 80 incidents of school shootings in America, the highest since 2008. But why? School shootings have become an unfortunately common occurrence in the United States. A school shooting is defined as any instance of gun violence occurring in a school setting, including the presence of a gun on school property, the discharge of a gun at or within a school, and the death or injury of any person as a result of gun violence on school property. Since 2022, an estimated 43,000 students have experienced gun violence in or around their schools. There have been a total of 392 school shootings in the United States since 1999. The year of the infamous Columbine High School massacre, resulting in the death of 203 children and another 437 injured. The majority of these shootings occurred in K-12 schools, with only 12 incidents of mass shootings occurring in college and university campuses since 1960. It is also noticed that most of these shootings were perpetrated by a student or former student of the school. These shootings are now a serious problem in the United States and have been linked to several factors, such as access to firearms, mental health issues, bullying, and a lack of school security. In order to reduce the number of school shootings, it is essential to address these issues and develop preventative measures to ensure the safety of students in schools. To prevent future school shootings, many schools have implemented various strategies. These include increased security measures, such as metal detectors and armed guards. Schools have also implemented anti-bullying policies and counseling services in an effort to identify and address mental health issues. In addition, many states have also enacted gun control laws to limit access to firearms, yet limiting access to firearms. One of the holy grails of the problem of America. With so many school shootings happening, one would wonder why haven't the government ban owning a gun in the country, or even have stricter rules? Well, apparently it's not so easy. Gun control laws in America vary greatly from state to state. All states have laws that regulate the sale, possession, and use of firearms, and most states have their own set of regulations that are stricter than federal laws. In general, federal laws require individuals to be at least 21 years old to purchase a firearm from a licensed dealer. In some states, individuals must be at least 21 years old to possess a handgun, while in others the age restriction is 18. In addition, federal law requires individuals to pass a background check before being able to purchase a firearm from a dealer. Many states also have laws that require individuals to obtain a permit before carrying a concealed weapon. In some states, individuals must complete a gun safety course before they are allowed to purchase a firearm. In addition to state and federal laws, some cities and counties have enacted gun control laws that may be stricter than the laws at the state or federal level. For example, in Chicago, Illinois, individuals must obtain a firearm owner's identification (FOID) card before they are allowed to purchase or possess a firearm. Though there have been some strict measures, there have been no outright bans. You see, Americans are very pro-gun in their mentality. The Second Amendment of the United States Constitution guarantees the right of individuals to bear arms. This amendment has been interpreted by many to mean that citizens have the right to own and use firearms for self-defense and other purposes. Guns also are seen as a symbol of independence and freedom. For many, owning a gun is a way to feel empowered and protected against potential threats. Another reason is hunting, which is a popular pastime and even a profession for many in the United States. And lastly, it's also politics. The right-wing belt of Americans considers gun ownership as a way to protect against potential government overreach, and hence, that must be protected at all costs. But in the wake of the devastating mass shootings in America, anti-gun protests have been sweeping the nation. The protests are led by survivors of gun violence, high school students, and parents of children killed by gun violence. The movement is gaining momentum and inspiring people to take action to reduce gun violence in America. At the forefront of the anti-gun protests were the survivors of the Parkland, Florida, shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018. The students and parents of those killed in the shooting formed a group called March for Our Lives and have organized various rallies and marches in cities across the country. The march in Washington, D.C. was one of the largest anti-gun protests in history and was attended by hundreds of thousands to even a million of people. The anti-gun protests have also been supported by other groups, such as the National Association for Gun Rights, Moms Demand Action, and Everytown for Gun Safety. These organizations are advocating for stronger gun control laws, such as universal background checks and a ban on assault weapons. They have been organizing events, such as rallies and vigils, to raise awareness about the issue of gun violence. The anti-gun protests have had an impact on the gun control debate in America. Many state legislatures have passed laws in response to the protests, such as bans on bump stocks and high-capacity magazines. Several retailers have also stopped selling assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Additionally, Congress has passed legislation that requires enhanced background checks for gun purchases. For now, gun safety is better, but far from safe in America. With so many students being killed at a place where they should flourish, it's sad to see that lawmakers are still yet to conclude the problem. Till then, everyone has to be vigilant and be as informed as possible.